The French Revolution actually started in America when the British started to tax the American colonists. The British king was like, "Give me money," and the colonists were like, "Nah," because they didn't have representation in the government. On July 4th, 1776, the Americans declared independence and published the Bill of Rights. Meanwhile, in France, royalty continued spending money on lavish goods in Versailles. Under King Louis XVI, who was childish and irresponsible, the French funds declined quickly. There were three social classes in France at the time. The first estate was royalty, the second estate was nobility and clergy, and the third estate was peasants. The French king was like, "Give me money," and the third estate was like, "What money?" Louis XVI called a meeting of the Estates General in which all three estates discussed the financial crisis. Due to unfair representation, the third estate broke off and formed the National Assembly. On June 20th, 1789, they met on a tennis court and declared they would remain united until a constitution was written, in what is known as the Tennis Court Oath. Sans-Culottes, the fighting force of the Third Estate, attacked the prison fort Bastille on July 14, 1789. Despite an attempt at peace by Launay, the mob stormed in. The fall of Bastille became a symbol of revolution among the Third Estate, inspiring more peasant revolts such as Nantes. Meanwhile, on August 26, 1789, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen was published, taking inspiration from the Bill of Rights. Under the fake name Olympe de Gouges, a woman published the Declaration of Rights of Woman. Go feminism. Unfortunately, the National Assembly rejected her ideas.
On October 5th, 1789, angry peasant mothers marched to Versailles because they didn't have money to feed their children. Angered by the rich lifestyle of French royalty, they brought Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette back to Paris. This is known as the Women's March on Versailles. Louis XVI attempted to escape Paris, however, he was caught in Vienna and sentenced to death by guillotine. Many more deaths by guillotine occurred in a time known as the Reign of Terror, which started due to the formation of the Committee of Public Safety. The committee was created to make France seem less chaotic to foreign nations, who started to make coalitions scared that they would end up like Louis XVI. Psych, you thought. It just brought more death. Maximilien Robespierre led the Committee of Public Safety and basically tried to be a dictator. In various attempts at de-Christianization, faith was replaced by the cult of reason. The names of months were also changed to steer away from Christian ties. The National Convention finally got fed up by Robespierre and sentenced him to death via guillotine. His death sparked the Thermidorian reaction, in which the National Convention curtailed the power of the Committee of Public Safety and shut down radical peasants, also known as Jacobins. Churches opened again, and there was more economic freedom. Meanwhile, this random dude named Napoleon started rising in ranks in the French army. He soon became the commander of the French army and turned bad soldiers into an effective fighting force. After crowning himself the emperor, basically going against everything that happened in the French Revolution, Napoleon opened relations with the Pope in the Concordat. Napoleon's win streak came to a decline when he tried to invade Russia. It was really cold, and he retreated. Napoleon was banished to the island of Elba, while the Bourbon Louis XVIII took charge in France. He then returned to France. However, after his defeat at Waterloo, the French people kicked him out for good to the island of St. Helena, where he died in 1893.